Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hari Hari Bol, Hari Nam Sankirtan ki Jai. So very melodious. We also saw you sang today morning in Nityam Bhagavata Sevya, am I right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yourself and Shreya.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So very nice, very nice. Thank you so much once again. Hare Krishna. So in the morning, who was playing the Mridanga? I heard this Mridanga sound.
It was an audio file, Prabhuji, already a pre-recorded audio file.
Interesting. Okay, Hare Krishna. So I think I should also try since I don't know Mridanga. Hare Krishna.
That you have to chant Surat.
Hare Krishna. So welcome to everyone to today's Ramadan 2021 program. So today we are in the second concluding part of Bhakti, the art of eternal love. So we are fortunate to have with us His Grace Madhupati Gopinath Das and Her Grace Rasavati Madhavi Devi Dasi. So I hope I got Mataji's name right. Hare Krishna. So Madhupati Prabhu and Rasavati Mataji are disciples of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. Madhupati Prabhu is involved in Seva in Krishna store, and he is also an expert in musical instruments and electronics. So he advised me a lot regarding selection of speakers, music systems, and things like that. And Prabhu is actively participating in Kirtan Dubai team under His Grace Harinam Prabhu. And Rasavati Mataji is actively involved in Balutsav classes in Discovery Gardens and also in the Krishna store. Mataji is actively assisting Prabhu in many projects. So when I was discussing with them, I came to know about an interesting project which they are doing on creating the shlokas and other these things in Konkani. So since Konkani doesn't have a script, I believe, so what they are doing is shloka by shloka, the translation purport, they are converting it into Konkani for the benefit of devotees. It's an excellent and interesting way of reaching out. So if time permits at the end of this lecture, so maybe they can share a few minutes of what they are doing. So let us welcome Madhupati Prabhu and Rasavati Mataji with the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So over to you, Prabhu and Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Please accept the Shashtang Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Achalam Pankam Lankayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam
Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Are we properly audible, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji, you are audible. Hare Krishna. And you have been made the host also, co-host. So you can go ahead and then share your presentation. Hare Krishna.
Sure, Prabhu, thank you. Introduction to the
Hare Krishna. It's a beautiful journey of Krishna consciousness where books, as Srila Prabhupada books, play a very important role. Every word of Srila Prabhupada book is very potent. And we came to Krishna consciousness that I remember the journey, how the very first time I was in my Shiksha Guru's house and I picked up a book in their cupboard which was Perfect Question and Answers. And that, that was like, I was just reading it again and again. I was so getting attracted and it answered my so many queries, though I didn't knew anything about Krishna consciousness, enlightened me in many ways, saying how things has to be in life. And that really attracted me. So when Bandhu Baldev Prabhu told us today's our topic is we have to talk about 6 devotional the characteristics of the devotional process, and it is from the Bhakti, the Art of Eternal Love. And when Prabhu told us about this, it is a very small book, and I just started going through the pages. And what I felt is like a person who has not studied a student who has not studied at all, and suddenly a principal comes to you and says you're the topper of the university. So what happiness you get, I really got that happiness. So we are just trying to share that happiness, the realizations, because this session would be a mirror for ourselves to improve in our bhakti. Because this every page I felt, am I in the page? Am I in the page? Am I in the page? But I would really, we would really love to be in the page of this particular book today, especially what we are going to discuss.
Hare Krishna. So,
Hare Krishna.
Moving on to the thing. So we are going to discuss on the 6 features of pure bhakti. Before we start, I would like to ask a small, just put it, give me a minute, Prabhu, I'm just putting it on presenter mode. Okay. So before we go into this presentation, thank you so much, Prabhu and Jagjeev and Jagannath Das Prabhu and all the exalted Vaishnavas assembled here. And this is our very humble, what do you call, effort, just to present as it is the Bhakti book. In fact, this is actually a very tough topic. So, in whatever capacity we have not put anything from our own words, but we have taken out. We have tried our efforts to put the same thing in a PPT way. So, before we move on to this, we'd like to ask that who wants to watch a small video. If you'd like to watch a small video, you can just give me a thumbs up. I'm not able to see anybody. Let's see. All the videos, none of the videos are on. So how do I make out that you respond? Somebody can give me a thumbs up. Yeah, Jagdeep Jagannath. So thank you, Prabhu. Anybody else would like to see? Hare Krishna, Mataji. So I'll just put a short video. It may or may not be related to this, but however, it's a very informative video. So I'm going to share the screen again. Stop the screen. Share. I believe some of you might have already seen this video. It's called a Karma Ghost. So now the audio have to change over. Hare Krishna. So this is a very wonderful video which depicts how karma acts on us. So I just saw this video a few like recently, and like wanted to share this with you. It might be interesting for you. Now, going back to the presentation. So here we'll be discussing about 6 features. So the first feature what we are going to discuss is that bhakti. When we do bhakti, it is called kleshagni. All the distress will be removed, and next one is the bhakti is all auspicious. So these points what we are going to discuss today, they are actually part of the 9 stages of bhakti. So 9 stages of bhakti is like what do you call, from from Shraddha to Prema. So these the 6 features actually they fall under these what do you call these stages. So the second one, the third one is bhakti puts us in transcendental pleasure, and it is rarely achieved, and it is driven by what do you call, it derides the conception of liberation. And the 6th point is bhakti is the only means to attract Krishna. So we'll look one by one in detail. During this session, what I request is that both of us will be presenting it together, and somewhere in the middle we'll take a short break with Kirtan, and then we'll continue with it. Moving on. So the first point is like relief from all kind of material distress. So what it says is that, so in this book, the part 2 of this book, it says that avidya or ignorance is the cause of all. There are three causes for that. So the main prominent cause is the avidya. Once we have the ignorance or avidya in us, what happens is that it creates a material desire. So that is called the bijam. And once that desire is there in our heart, then gradually we are born to make papa. We do sinful acts, and that becomes the karma, and ultimately it ends in klesha, the suffering. So if you look at an example of a child and a fire, so here what happens is that a child, when he sees the fire, he or she like doesn't know that it's going to hurt them, but they can feel that the fire is so blazing and they wanted to touch it. So they goes and they try to hold the fire. That time what happens is that they get burned with it. So in the same way, avidya, the child doesn't know the fire is going to hurt them, but because of the properties of the fire, they get attracted towards that. So a bijam is generated there, and they have a desire to touch the fire, and they do the action, they go and touch the fire. So that is how the sinful acts happen, and then at the end it gets hurt and suffering. So klesha. So that is how the name kleshagni is there. And if we further analyze this papa, this papam can be divided into 2. It is not papam divided into 2. It is how the reactions of papa can be divided into 2. So one is called prarabdha, which is manifested reactions. So as we do sinful activities, some of the reactions are very quick. We get it then and there. So result of that prarabdha is suffering, klesha. And the next part of it is called aprarabdha. So these are unmanifested reactions. So unmanifested reactions means what happens is that we keep doing papa and it gets accumulated. That is how logical functioning of it, right? So, and in that cycle, some of them will automatically become prarabdha, and then we get the suffering out of it. And another path is it creates another division called kutam. Kutam is nothing but accumulation of all this. It means it is an inclination. So we can look at an example of an alcoholic person. So this alcoholic person, when he starts drinking the alcohol, he gets addicted to that, and that inclination towards the alcohol is generated there. So here, while drinking alcohol, it doesn't become prarabdha. Sometimes it becomes prarabdha, but immediately effects are not there. So it is an aprarabdha reaction. So then it accumulates, and the inclination keep on increasing, and gradually, like he tries to increase his drinking, and then that is how the material desire happens, and then again he keeps on drinking, and ultimately he gets into klesha. You want to add some points in this, or we'll move on to next?
Prarabdha is like the current things, whatever is happening. Maybe, for example, a person who, not educated, a very low-born family, or he's having some weaker complications or chronic diseases like that. And a prarabdha is like it is still not manifested. The result is not yet come. This kutam is inclinations, like as Prabhuji mentioned, we have tendencies, we still have the desires to do addictions, and bijam is the hidden desires. He has these desires. Now, for example, I might be, not, I might be a calm person, but I have that desires, that bijam in me to, act like an angry mood. So that might come on a particular instance because it is still there in me. It is not, it is hidden in me. So that is bijam.
So moving on to the next, we can do a further analysis on the same thing, because see, in the 9 stages of devotion service, the initial part is also very important, where there are so many things involved in it. In that, the prominent one is to how to what do you call, kleshagni, how to remove all these kleshas. So moving on, so klesha is like distress, and so that is caused by the sinful activities, and ignorance is the base cause of it. So because of ignorance, we create sinful activities, and then we are in distress. And if you look at that, there are mature distress, means when the sins get mature, we get it suffering. So we currently suffer because of that. So that can be also compared with the prarabdha manifested reactions, prarabdha. And in the other side of it is like some of the sinful activities are not yet matured. So what happens is that our suffering is awaited there. So they are called aprarabdha, or unmanifested reactions. So here we can look at an example of somebody has created a crime, so that he has done his sinful activities, but he has not been detected yet. So as soon as he is detected, he will be arrested. So that is a kind of, that is called an aprarabdha karma, not karma, aprarabdha, or unmanifested reactions. And moving on, and the main point from this, what we have to understand is that this suffering is life after life. This is not for a single life. Every life we keep cycling into this same situations. So there are sins from past life, and also we keep on incurring sins. So that also contributes to the suffering life after life. So the key point from this particular this is reactions to sinful deeds can immediately be stopped if we take to Krishna consciousness. So that is a key point from this thing. You want to add upon something? You can carry.
Every simple reaction creates further Kutam and Beecham. So how do we break this chain? You can see this in this diagram that there's a circular, it keeps on going. So how do we have to come out of this? So really, when I was just reading this book, what really attracted me was the one statement: all these reactions to sinful deeds are immediately be stopped if you take to Krishna consciousness. See how powerful and how beautiful this is, and how we need to be so grateful that we are in this moment, that we have this opportunity to come out of this drastic, complicated equation of karmas. The one which video we played at the initial, the beginning of this, that was a karma ghost, and it was showed only for the one life. But ours, the case is like we are carrying this from past many births. That is, from time immemorial, this chain of karma, the reactions are going on. So how do we stop this? And in Srimad Bhagavatam, how every stages is being addressed. How a prarabdha karma, how ignorance can be broken, how can we get rid of this bijam and kutam is beautifully described. In Srimad Bhagavatam, in Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna says to Uddhava, "My dear Uddhava, just as a blazing fire turns firewood into ashes, similarly devotion unto me completely burns to ashes the sin committed by my devotees." It's like you have an fire and you're going to put the fuels, no matter what you put in it, it will take it, right? Similarly, our devotion, the fire of devotion can burn our unlimited sins.
And apart from that, we can also understand that so many people do so much of ritualistic activities to counteract with these sinful reactions. But what happens is that they don't give a permanent relief from it. So they are all temporary. Because what happens is that their heart doesn't change actually. They're trying to overcome it with some sort of temporary things. And yeah, moving on to next point. It's your point.
I'll just move to the previous slide. And this is the prarabdha karma, what we are talking about. Burning the sinful. How does the aprarabdha karma, what I spoke earlier was aprarabdha karma. In the sense, the sins are not still manifested. We might suffer in future. That not Krishna breaks. And now breaks in the sense, we will talk about how it is broken. In the sense, does it become zero, or how is it how is it minimized or nullified? What that equation we will see a little while later. But here, aprarabdha is broken. Now, what about the prarabdha karma? How do we say that in current life, whatever is going on, devotion service will take care? For that, in Srimad Bhagavatam, it says that to say nothing in Srimad Bhagavatam, in 3rd canto, Devahuti addresses her son Kapila Dev. My dear Lord, there are 9 different kinds of devotional service, beginning from hearing and chanting. Anyone who hears about your pastimes and chants about your glories, who offers you obeisances, who thinks of you, and in this way executes the 9 kinds of devotional service, even if he is born in a family of a dog-eater, the lowest of the mankind, becomes immediately qualified to perform the sacrifices. Look, he is born in the family of a dog eater, that is prarabdha karma. Currently it is going on. Even such a person gets in position, what is that? He becomes qualified to perform sacrifices. To perform sacrifices, there are protocols, right? Only the Brahminical people can do it, but even such a person can he gets qualified to perform the sacrifices, so that the prarabdha karmas, the currently whatever is going on, is taken care.
So, and another point is like the ignorance has to be removed. So, for that, the what do you call, only with the knowledge it can be removed. That is another point.
Why are we ignorant? What does this ignorance mean? From the beginning of 3 slides, we spoke about the root cause was ignorance. Ignorance is that we are identifying that we are the doers. We think that we are on a bodily platform. We are when do we get enlightened? When we take into devotional service. That is dadami buddhi yogam tam. That Lord gives us the intelligence, so that what happens, our desires, our activities get purified. Can we go to the first slide?
Sure.
Yeah. So how does the sinful actions happens? Because of desires. So how should the desires get purified? Here what we are talking about is what Srila Prabhupada is telling us is not nullifying. We don't have to devoid. We have to purify our desires. So that can only happen through devotional service from the higher purpose. So when that happens, the avidya is gone and the material desires, the bijam is addressed. And here, if I have to quote an example, and we've been hearing about Ajamil pastime. So he had that tendency to, though he was he was in a Brahminical background, he had the tendency of sinful activities. So when he uttered Narayana, what happened? That got rooted and he got a second chance. Then immediately he stopped doing sinful activities. So in all this process, what a role of a devotee is, yes, we are being assured that Krishna is going to take care of us, of our sins when we do it, but even what will be our role? Not to further commit sinful activities. That's how beautifully Srila Prabhupada has given us. We've been insisted on following 4 regulative principles, so that we don't come into the further sinful activities, at least knowingly. Unknowingly, there are various sins, it's what is going to happen, but at least knowingly we don't create further bijam and kutam, and so that we don't fall into this cycle of karmic reactions. So aprarabdha is addressed, prarabdha is addressed, and with that even kutam and bijam is addressed with sinful. Kutam is, bijam is like they're hidden. It can be known or not known. But when we do this, what happens? We don't have to practically work upon it. It gets washed off. It gets uprooted.
Okay.
Yeah, Krishna consciousness is like forest fire, the blazing forest fires. All the inauspicious snakes what we have within us, it gets burnt off with Krishna consciousness. Like when we say,
So here we can understand that bhakti is not like emptying the mind, rather it is filling up with the Krishna.
relief from all kinds of material distress, right? So does it mean that will we not have troubles in life? Oh yeah, I'm in Krishna consciousness, I'm being chanting, I'm being reading, we do various services. Does it mean that the sinful reaction is zero, or how is it? Right? And as we said earlier, it is being manifested in the different stages. It's a gradual process. Now, for example, this material distress, it gets manifested after anartha nivritti, that is at the nishta stage. It gets gradually manifested at that particular point of time. That means the more it depends upon our sadhana, it depends upon our devotional service. But what does it mean? Is it zero? That equation is not in our hands. It's all Krishna's will, how he has to take care of our karmic reactions. Only our role is to do devotional service and serve our spiritual master. But what about the difficulties? What does it mean that when we get the difficulties, or we say, oh, he's so, we talk about at times like many pure devotees who do so much devotional service, but still they have difficulty, they undergo the material sufferings. What does that imply? So if we have to take an mother and a daughter-in-law example, what does mother do is, if she has to train her daughter-in-law, she will tell first her daughter, like if daughter-in-law is doing something wrong, she wants to convey that message to the daughter-in-law through the daughter. Actually, it's not for the daughter, daughter is all doing fine, she's all good, but it is for her daughter-in-law. Similarly, Lord wants to show us many things, many teachings. He has to teach us many lessons so that we become stronger in devotional life. How is that? For example, if when a pure devotee gets sufferings, it is pure devotee is always not on a, he's nowhere on a material platform, but when he gets suffering, it is to glorify the pure devotee. When sadhakas like me, like us, get suffering, it is to purify us. It is for our purification. Lord that particular reaction is for our purification, and he creates such a situation so that we become closer to Krishna. Whereas for the very pure devotees, it is their glorification. Now, if you see for the pure devotees, Prahlad Maharaj, let us take an example of Prahlad Maharaj. He underwent so many obstacles, right? And it was not exactly it was not the karmic reaction of Prahlad Maharaj, but it was to show us, like, see how a pure devotee is. If whatever the obstacles Prahlad Maharaj went, it may not be nowhere, it is nowhere comparable to what can happen on a material plane, right? And even Srila Prabhupada had many, he underwent many difficulties when he went abroad at the very first time, but it was all, even when before going to US, he had to face so many obstacles in the path of devotional life, and that was to show, like, for us, see how strongly they are so determined in spite of all these obstacles. And yeah, and it, for us, it will be for our purification. The most important aspect here will be, we have to be very alert that we don't create, at the cost of devotional life, we don't create further sins. What we have, one of the aparadas also, right? Committing sinful actions on the strength of the holy name, it will be aparad, and that will create disastrous adverse effects.
Okay. So moving on to the next point, which is bhakti is all auspicious. So here we can see that it's called Shubhada. Shubhada means it creates all auspiciousness. So in this regards, we can see that how is it auspicious? Because it attracts everyone. And the next point is that when we start doing bhakti, it generates so much of spiritual quality in us, and like we will get superior happiness. So, but when we further analyze this, even so many social organizations are there who do so much of things to attracting people, but what happens is that they still are in a bodily platform. And not only that, it doesn't reach to everybody. Like, for example, if a devotee, if a bhakta, he is actually para dukkha dukhi, right? So what happens is that he will always reach out to other peoples, and every other like persons or whatever living entities are there, they will be benefited by pure devotee. Like for example, if we look further, we can see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Jarikhanda forest Leela, all the animals, even the animals in there were affected by his mercy. He had showered his mercy on even the animals. So that is how a pure devotee will help. And so bhakti will attract everybody. It benefits everybody and it attracts everybody. So we can understand that from this. And we can also see an example of Jadabarada, where he was reluctant to step on even on an ant. So there are so many examples in our scriptures regarding that. And when we look at the saintly qualities developed within us, it is like if you do yoga and material education, it doesn't, up to an extent, it gives some qualities, but not so much of good qualities. But devotional service generate saintly qualities in us. So here we can see that only pure devotional service is universally attractive, and because of that particular reason, it is all auspicious. You have something to add on it?
Here the thing what really struck us is that when we say benefit to everyone, and if you say a country has to progress, it's not the slogans that can help the countries to progress. It is the human beings, we have to progress. So if we have to progress, our thoughts have to get purified. Our thoughts have to get purified. Our action should be proper. So that again gets doubted to the spiritual process. So when we do that, that helps attracting, because our when we live a Krishna centric life, because universal attraction is Supreme Lord. So when we start all our interest lies in pleasing the Lord, and Lord is there in every one of us, and that's how others also will get attracted, and all of us will start looking everyone equally. So in that sense, it benefits all and it attracts everyone. And we have in Srimad Bhagavatam 5.18.12, where yasyasti bhakti bhagavatya kinchana sarvair gunai tatra samasate sura harava bhaktasya kuto mahatguna manorathe nasati dhavato bhaihi. What does it mean? It means that all the demigods, the godly qualities, automatically gets manifested in a devotee. But no matter why is it we say godly qualities, because the devotees will always, they are all surudham satham, in the sense they help the person to reach the goal of life, to come out of this material existence. Others, it could be a philanthropic activities where the person is just, might be, recently we went to a place in India where it is very nice, and they are doing so many services, like they have goshalas, they have hospitals, medical services, and even they are giving food, prashadam for the people 3 times. I mean, it was without onion, garlic also, all the sattvic. But when it came to the philosophy level, it was totally missing. The goal of life was missing. So that it can be taken as a pious activities, but not the spiritual, where it is where a person can come out of this distress. See, we initially spoke about distress. Distress is like treating a disease. A person has a disease, a person is getting treated for the disease. Now the next process what we are discussing is, it's like nourishment. Like a person is coming out of that disease, and you have to nourish, you have to rejuvenate the body. So that is this process. Yeah.
So the main point here, learning point, is like pure devotional service is universally attractive. So everybody gets attracted by bhakti, and because of that, it reaches to everybody, and because of that, it is all auspicious. And another important point is that like if you want to go back to Godhead, the only way is to do the bhakti, right?
Yeah. And even we can see, we have many examples. We can see our own lives, like what, even now we are not still fine, but at least we are on a path of progression towards bhakti. It is like our goal is pure bhakti, fine. But again, to attain that goal, the process is also devotional service. Now, for example, if I will just state one small story where there was one person who wanted to seek gold in one kingdom. He has never seen gold. So he goes to the king and he will insist king to show his treasury, the gold treasury. The king will, okay, fine. The king will take him to the treasury, and he will go to the treasury, and the representatives of the king, they will help him, and they will open the treasury and show the person gold. And he's seeing this gold, and after that he comes back. Now when he comes back, he sees that the path he went to see the gold, and when he's coming back, the path, whatever is there, it's also made of gold. Now he earlier he didn't know what the gold is. Now he has seen the gold, and the path what he took to see that particular treasury, he took a path of a gold. So it is like that. Pure devotional process is our goal. Again, the path is also devotional process.
So we can also understand that see our actions. Okay, means what happens when we do this devotion service. Our thoughts are first what do you call, transformed, and from there what happens is that thoughts will translate into our actions. So that is also very important aspect of this. And shall we take a short break and then get back? Okay, then
Continue.
okay, so then we'll move on to the next point, which is it's a transcendental pleasure. So looking at that, if you look at the happiness which can be achieved with so many other means, like doing sense gratification, somebody will be happy by like in a liberated state, and also somebody will be happy if they have some sort of siddhis and all. So there are many ways to be happy, but what happens is that devotional service is always superior than any other happiness. So this superior happiness we also saw in the previous slide. So this also is a continuation of that. So that is why I have marked here it in red. So why is it superior to devotional service? That is what we are going to look into this. So here we can see that the superior happiness which comes when we do the devotional service, it includes all the other type of happiness which is been whichever we can imagine, right? And that is eternal. So here we are comparing with quality and quantity. So quality of that devotional service is it includes all the type of happiness what we can get, and plus quantity wise it is eternal. So if you further look into that, those who are into bhakti, first thing is that they don't hanker for liberation. So, and apart from that, automatically they say it is automatically liberated from the identification of what do you call, identification to the material world. So they don't want liberation. Once you are in the path of bhakti, they don't need liberation. But ultimately, that state itself is a liberation from all these material things. Further looking into that, so see, if you look, how do we normally materially achieve happiness? Is that we get into some sense gratification. We want to get a mobile, high-end mobile, and like somebody wants to play some good video games. So some sort of things. So here what happens when we do bhakti, everything, any action what we do becomes Krishna-centric actions, and because of which everything gets purified. So the happiness generated from this bhakti is obviously superior to devotional service. With the happiness what we can get from regular sense gratification and other stuffs. So we can also see, so and it is eternal. So since Krishna is eternal, obviously his devotees are also hankering to be eternal servants of Krishna. In that sense, so the superior happiness what is obtained is also eternal. Other type of happiness is impermanent. Yeah. So material happiness what we can get is very impermanent. Like if you are using, if somebody has launched a new phone, somebody wants to buy it, and that craze of buying that phone remains until we get it in our hand and use it for 3 days, finished. After that, no more happiness out of it, and again something else will come and we will hanker for that, and that is how all this material happiness is impermanent. And whereas devotional, the happiness derived from devotional service is permanent, because Krishna is eternal and we are eternal servants of the Supreme Lord. We can also take an example of Kolavich Sridhar. What happens is that he's when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he goes and bargains with him and takes away the banana leaves for the price what he wants. Kolavich Sridhar, he always says that, let me remember you always in this state. So he doesn't need anything, because he can get money. If he sell it to somebody else, he will get money and he can be happy. But he doesn't choose to that. He gives it to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for whatever amount he says, and he's happy with it. So there are such examples in our scriptures which we can understand. You can add something on this.
Yeah, when we say happiness, now the main concept is like if a child is lost in some finance,
Fair.
yeah, in some fair, no matter what we do with the child is not happy, right? He has to get, the child has to get connected with the parent, then only the child will be happy. So this is also our state. So in this diagram, if we see the sense gratification, whatever we do, it's not permanent. We don't have to, because that's gonna end. That is gonna end with this life. So that is not permanent. And what about the liberation? What Srila Prabhupada, Rupa Goswami, Srila Rupa Goswami is trying to say here is like Mayavadis, when they achieve, they think that they are liberated. When they get that Brahman platform, they again come back to the material world. They are not happy and they are not satisfied. One is the quality, they are not satisfied, they are not happy, because there is no reciprocation there is no service happening. So they again come back, and with that what they try to do is they try to do some social activities here, but that again is incomplete, because they have never realized the spiritual happiness. Until you give the spiritual happiness to another person, we cannot be happy. That doesn't make sense. So here the Brahman, so alluring and attractive they may be, but he always knows that no material welfare activities can compare to the spiritual activities of Krishna consciousness. So this is the state of liberation. And even the various siddhis are being spoken. What is the siddhis? Like for example, Anima Siddhi. Anima Siddhi is like the person becomes smaller to enter into a stone. But these is it's getting even achieved now in our material sciences, right? Like the subways, the trains and all what go between the rocks, right? So that is also being done. And Anima Siddhi and Yogi Siddhis, the various Siddhis where people try to gain happiness, like becoming lighter and floating in the air or on the water, that also is done in modern sciences. And Laghima, there are particular siddhis, like it's not done, but even if that is achieved, will not be happy, like going to the sun planet through the sun rays and touching the moon. Another siddhi what is being spoken is touching the moon by extending the hand, touching the moon, or trying to get something from the other planets just by extending the hand, the Prakti Siddhi. And the modern scientists, all these siddhis are just material, that will not give, they are all material and they are not permanent. They will end with this particular life. The modern scientists have manufactured nuclear weapons with which they can destroy an insignificant part of this planet. But by the Yoga Siddhi, known as Ishita, one can create and destroy an entire planet. And there's one more, Vashita Siddhi, that is trying to gain control and creating all like fraud mechanisms on other people. So that also will not gain happiness. So here the various process where one person is trying to gain happiness, they're all impermanent, they're not eternal. And yeah, and even in the yoga process, these siddhis, they don't, that is, these siddhis is kind of in distractions for them. So that is what is being mentioned over here, saying how all the siddhis are imperfect and they don't lead to eternal happiness, right?
So another example is like of a queen who comes to a courtyard. So what happens is that when the queen comes into the courtyard, all her assistants also come along. Similarly, what happens when we do bhakti, when the bhakti rises in the heart, Mukti stands in front with folded hands.
Here,
A pure devotee doesn't practice devotion to become happy. He loves Krishna and thus he serves Krishna. So pure devotee doesn't practice the devotional service to become happy. Happiness is not his aim. His aim is only to serve Krishna and make Krishna happy, not for himself to be happy. At some point.
yeah, that do we practice devotion for happiness? When love is there, automatically the service comes. So when service is there, automatically we become happy. The whole sum and substance is based on service to the Lord. My dear wife, Lord Shiva says to his wife, my dear wife, a person who has surrendered himself at the lotus feet of Govinda and who has thus developed pure Krishna consciousness and can be very easily awarded all perfections desired by the impersonalist, and beyond this he can enjoy the happiness achieved by the pure devotees. As we just mentioned, Palavesh Sridhar is so happy relishing his moments with Mahaprabhu. He's not worried about the other things. Even Mahaprabhu wants to give him all the benedictions, profound benedictions, is not willing to take it. So this is the position of a devotee. Don't we feel that we also have to hanker for this, to this, because in what happens is, even in Krishna consciousness, we are in a dual phase. Like, yeah, I want this, even I want that. Yeah, we are in devotion, but we come into a state of duality, saying both the things we want, even the material comforts, even the devotion. So we have to try to elevate ourselves to this particular the state. I understand it's practically a different scenario, but of course, yes, with the strength of Srila Prabhupada's mercy, we can really do it.
We'll take a break now. Hare Krishna Prabhu, we'll take a break for the Kirtan, and once the Kirtan is finished, then we'll come back and resume. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna Mataji, can we have a bhajan now?
Who is doing Kirtan Prabhu?
Achyuta.
Oh, yeah, sure, Prabhu. Please go ahead.
No, you wanted a break or you want to continue, Prabhu?
What do you think? We'll continue? Now we'll have a Kirtan Prabhu, because we'll refresh, okay. Because it's already 45 minutes, so memory refresh is required for all who are listening.
Okay, Prabhu. Okay, Prabhu. So Achyuta, are you ready? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Achyuta, are you there?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So Achyuta is going to sing Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. So Vasant Prabhu will be putting it up now. So appreciate if you can read the meaning and then start with the bhajan.
Okay.
And please switch on your camera. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, the camera does not work.
Prabhu, actually this is on this one data, so we are not able to switch on camera. So please.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
First we will see.
Prabhuji, I should tell the translation
Yes.
first, right?
Yes.
Okay, Prabhuji. So the translation: O Radha, O beloved of the Madhava, O you who are worshipped by all the young girls of Gokula, all glories unto you, all glories unto you. You who dresses yourself in such a way as to increase Lord Damodara's love and attachment for you, O Queen of Vindavana, which is the pleasure grove of Lord Hari, O new moon that has arisen from the ocean of King Vishabhanu, O friend of Lalita, O you who make Vishaka loyal to you due to your wonderful qualities of friendliness, kindness, and faithfulness to Krishna. O you who are filled with compassion, O you whose divine characteristics are described by the great sages Sanaka and Sanatana, O Radha, please be merciful to me. Yes, Prabhuji. That's right. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Radhe Jaya Jaya Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jaya Jaya Damodararati Varanavesi Hari Niskuta Vrinda Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Vrishabhanudadi Navasashileke Lalita Sakhi Gunaramida Visake Vrishabhanudadi Navasashileke Lalita Sakhi Gunaramida Visake Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Karunam Kurumani Karuna Parite Sanaka Sanatana Vanita Charite Karunam Kurumani Karuna Parite Sanaka Sanatana Vanita Charite Hare Jaya Jaya Madhava Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Radhe Jaya Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava, Gokula Taruni Mandala Maide, Gokula Taruni Mandala Maide, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava, 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 Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava. Harinas Sankirtan ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Nitya Gaur.
Hare Krishna, Hare Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Achyuta. Short, sweet, and melodious. Hare Krishna. So we will continue with our presentation. So over to you, Madhupati Prabhu and Rasavati Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
We're continuing from the third category, which was put on the transcendental plane. So here what happens with the material education? So when we advance materially, will that help us? Or if you are now, for example, we take on the knowledge. If you're getting into too much of material education, what happens? Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he says that advancement of material knowledge. Am I audible, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Advancement of material knowledge renders a person more foolish because it causes one to forget his real identity by its glitter. So does it mean that we should not get advanced in material education? No, we have to. The analogy is what being given here is like we have to be like a honeybee. What does it do? It goes from flower to flower, right? And what does it do? It takes only the honey out of it. We should get what is really required, so that we don't forget aim of life, so that Maya don't catch us. The more important thing is we remember Krishna. All the other activities should not take us away from Krishna. The Maya should not attack us. I am a better off being busy with my material comforts, maintaining a nice apartment, family, and sex life. The people do not know that at any moment they can be kicked out of this material situation. So this is the more vital criteria, that it can be lost any point of time. So the aim of our life really it should be really prominent. Now what happens with the scientists and all? They create comforts. Now for example, if you see many roads and all getting constructed to take care of all the motor vehicles and all, but what is happening? It is creating more and more congestion. It is not trying to solve the problems, but it is creating more problems. So it is like there is danger at every step. Our attempts to mitigate discomfort are like the attempts of a laborer to get some relief when carrying a heavy burden. When he is too uncomfortable, he shifts the burden from his head to the shoulder, but he has forgotten that the burden still lies on his back. He has that burden to carry, but we are just shifting it from the shoulder to the head. So this is what is being addressed in these particular sections, saying whatever we do, suffering or happiness or suffering, finally we are suffering. So when we actually one of the lecture, His Holiness Devamrita Maharaj says that discuss of dangers of a world is also a kirtan. So we should know what is happening out. Doesn't mean that we become aloof of material world. We should know, okay, now in the current scenario, what has to be taken care, how are the share markets, what is the skills required to progress. So that and all is required, but to the extent what is really required. If one more scenario, if I have to quote, if you have to go to the restrooms, you have to really use it, no matter how glamorous. I know it's a very vague example, but it might sense in all our lives, saying no matter how whatever accessories or however it is maintained, we really have to go do our job and come back, right? We cannot take it as an eternal place. So that's the state of the material world too. So we have to be very careful in getting with the material things, the material education, the advancements, whatever is there, we have to be very careful. And what about the body? When we have to Atma Arogya Sampanna depends upon three things. One is Sharira, body, buddhi and mana. So these three things has to be taken care, because this body is the yantra. This is the vehicle what is given to us by the Supreme to reach the Supreme. So this has to be taken care properly. That is Sara Asara Viveka Buddhi. What is really required in life, that makes that helps us to go to the goal of life, it should be considered. Yeah, shall we go to the next point?
Yeah, we'll go to the next point now. So the next point is like bhakti is actually very rarely achieved, and let us look why it is rarely achieved. So it is called Sudurlabham. Means Durlabham is not achievable, right? Durlabham, we cannot get it, we cannot attain it. But this is bhakti is Sudurlabham. It is very, very rarely attained. So why is it so? So when we look into that, we can understand that bhakti cannot be attained by own efforts. If we do our endeavors to make progress in bhakti, it is not possible. And the next point is like Krishna does not give it very easily. Why is it so? Why Krishna doesn't give it easily? Because bhakti has power to conquer Krishna himself. That is why he doesn't give it to, like, he doesn't give it very easily. So we can understand that even if you do some make some vows or some what do you call or some austerities, still bhakti is not achievable, because we by our own endeavor it is not possible. So then how can we achieve it? Let us look at that part now. So how we can attain bhakti? So bhakti can only be attained by the mercy of a spiritual master. You have to add something?
We say, let us all just reflect on our own lives, right? So bhakti can be got by bhakta alone. So in one of the lectures from His Grace Sarvabhauma Prabhuji, he was saying like Agyata Sukruti, right? We say Agyata Sukruti brings us to bhakti. So what is that Agyata Sukruti? Agyata Sukruti is not just a pious, we say Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate, after many births. But it is not the pious activity what has got us to it's only through the devotees. It is the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, or maybe in past life, maybe we have helped unknowingly, Agyata Sukruti. just to give a vague example, maybe one devotee was going for satsang and we might have just told him where the satsang address is. That also might have counted. So the end of the position, I mean, the devotee, whatever this particular fortune we have got, it's not through our effort, it's only through the effort of a devotee. Why has just now we were saying like a spiritual master, right? Why does Krishna doesn't give bhakti? What is the reason? See, now every this is a very special gift. Bhakti means it is internal potency. It is Alhadini Shakti. It is Srimati Radharani. So why he doesn't give that? Because it's not very cheap. It has to be. He wants us to want it. Krishna wants us to crave for it. He wants us to desire for that. So when we desire, it's like if there's an example, mothers and the child. What does child do? Child goes to a mother saying, give me one toy. So mother will give a toy and child will play for a while. And then again he will forget that toy. He wants some other toy. Again he will go to the mother and mother will again give him a toy. He will play and this process will go on. When the child will go and saying, when he'll go and ask for a toy and that she gives a toy and he doesn't want that toy, she'll give one more toy, he doesn't want that toy, he'll say, I want you, mother, he wants his mother to be there. That time mother will leave everything and come to the child. So this is what Krishna wants. So when we say it's only Krishna, through the mercy, when we serve the devotees through their mercy, because he gets controlled, he gets purchased. Now we have many examples in our scriptures. One is we have our Yashoda Maya, right? Yashoda Maya, if you see how Lord, the whole creation is under the control of the Lord, but Lord is under the control of Yashoda Maya. We have seen that, right? And then we have one more example. Yashoda Maya had so much of anxiety for the Lord. She wanted, she had that ahituki, what do you say, unconditional love for the child. It's for the Krishna. So that is what Krishna is looking, that when we have that love, he gives himself to us. And there's one more instance where Madhavendra Puri, he wanted to, Lord instructed him to get the chandan, so he had to travel all the way to East Bengal. So he took that much of effort because he has that craving for the Lord, right? To serve him. He wants to please the Lord. So when we have such a desire, Krishna will bless us through his devotees. Here in Chaitanya Charitamrit in Madhya Leela, it is said that Krishna can easily offer material happiness to even liberation, but he does not agree very easily to avoid personal engagement in his devotional service. Devotional service can in fact be attained only through the mercy of a pure devotee. And Lord Shiva says to Sati, my dear Sati, if one is very fine philosopher analyzing different processes of knowledge, he can achieve liberation from material entanglement by performance of ritualistic sacrifices recommended in the Vedas. One can be elevated to the platform of pious activities, but thereby enjoying the material comforts of life to the fullest extent. But all such endeavors can hardly offer anyone devotional service to the Lord, not even if one tries by such process for many, many thousand births. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabhaha. Even after many births, we cannot achieve devotional process on our strength, but only by the mercy, that if by one kripa kataksha of the spiritual master can pull us, can get us out of this material existence. So that is what Krishna is trying to say, that I am controlled by my devotees. He sells himself to the devotees. So devotees count, we are by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we are in our philosophy lies on dasanudasa, right? Serving our spiritual master so that we can please the Supreme Lord.
So Chaitanya in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 19.151, we can there's a wonderful verse, which is Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasada Paya Bhakti Lada Bija. So from this we can understand Guru Krishna Prasada Paya Bhakti Lada Bij. So what it says is that without the mercy, Guru Krishna Prasada Paya, we cannot the creeper of devotion service will not grow. So if you so that is what we can understand from this.
Another example quoted here is the sun. Okay, Krishna's mercy, though he is through giving it through devotees, it is there for everyone, but it is available for who is endeavoring for that. So it is like a sunshine. The energy is available for all of us, but it comes to a person who is willing to take it. If you open your eyes, if you're sitting at house and just closing everything, the sun's energy don't reach you. So if you open the curtains, if you're open enough to receive the energy, then only you will get it. So Krishna is waiting us to hanker for that. He wants us to want it. And then Prahlad Maharaj also states in Srimad Bhagavatam, which is 7. Can I go to that shloka? Next one.
Okay, then I will conclude this.
Conclusion comes.
So we can see from this that the devotion service is attained only by mercy of a spiritual master, and we have to do our conscious effort to purify our heart and to get this mercy.
To add on to this, we'll like to conclude with this for this particular section with the Prahlad Maharaj shloka, which says, unless they smear upon their bodies the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, completely freed from material contaminations, persons very much inclined towards materialistic life cannot be attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, who is glorified for his uncommon activities. Only by becoming Krishna conscious and taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, in this way we can be freed from the material contamination. There's one more beautiful shloka what comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita, which says, how is that? The dust of the feet of a devotee, the water that has washed the feet of a devotee, the remnants of the food left by a devotee are three very powerful substances. They are all Mahabala. Bhakta Pada Dhuli, Bhakta Pada Jala, Bhakta Bhukta Avashesha, Teen Mahabala. So this is the most powerful ways to reach the Lord. So Lord himself is stating, we are having various references saying how through devotee only we can reach the supreme. We have this even the beautiful pastimes where Kanchi Das, most of you might be knowing about it, where he was a personal servant of Varadraj Perumal, and he used to fan the Lord, and people used to come to him asking for the queries. And then once Shripad Ramanujacharya will go to him and ask him saying when will he get the mukti, but Lord will tell Ramanujacharya will get after certain birth. But this is the Leela of the Lord. Ramanujacharya is also he's liberated. He's liberated person. But here again, Kanchi Das is like inquisitive. What happens? What is his state? So you'll go and ask the Lord, and Lord will tell him that you will never get a mukti because you have never served my devotees. So when you only serve the devotees, Lord gets purchased. Bhaktyama. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so moving on to the next point. Bhakti derived even the conception of liberation. So if you further look into that, we can understand that we understood that the devotion service is beyond the liberation. But in this section, we can look at a few more examples. Now it says that liberation is like straw in the street. So this is said in Bhagavata Deepika. Sridhara Swami actually he comments saying that fortunate who swim in the nectar of devotion, consider other than devotional service like a straw. So what does this mean is that the straw on a street is so insignificant when compared to the whole other creation. So what it means is that the liberation is very insignificant. So we can understand it with also an example looking at what it says is that the molecular density of iron is very thick, so that nothing else can penetrate that. Like unlike water, the density is so light, so that anything can easily go into that. So we can also have an example of Prahlad Maharaj. He says that the liberation is like just a water which is held in the hoof of a cow. So why is it so? Prahlad Maharaj is Prahlad Maharaj says this when he was glorifying Lord Narasimha Deva. So what he says is that the happiness in like the happiness derived from pleasing Krishna in ecstatic love, okay, is so intense, and because of that, what happens is that everything else, the happiness is so intense there. So any other Brahmananda is very minute. It's like a water held in hoof of a cow. That's what Prahlad Maharaj says in the sloka. But one important thing which we need to understand is that this part, okay, this reaches, we realize that this part at the stage of Bhava Bhakti, just one step before Prema Bhakti. So we can imagine out of the 9 stages of devotion service where this lies. So it is not in the early stage, it is towards the end stage. So at this point, actually, nobody will put effort for the material enjoyment and all. And they can understand that everything else is very inferior when compared to devotional service. You have to add something.
Yeah, like see, the stages when we go, the happiness gets more concentrated and intense.
Yeah.
Now, when you say when we are at the initial stage, when you are on a sense gratification, it's all, there's no happiness, right? We think that is happiness, but that is not happiness. When we come to the sadhana level, in the sadhana level, we might start, but still it is not, because still anarthas is there. We cannot relish this happiness. I mean, we cannot perceive the presence of the Lord until or unless our senses are purified. If you have to quote an example, see, we have our Brahmana Patni, Brahmana's wife stories, right? Lord came in front of them, all the Brahmanas, but still they couldn't perceive that. So we have that purification should happen. They were all so much engrossed in their own world with their, to fulfill their desires. The Lord, they couldn't understand, oh, Lord himself has come, Yagneshwara himself has come. So we don't have that senses. As we gradually progress, it's a progression step, it gets manifested at the various levels. Now in the bhava stage, it is even more, it becomes intensified, it becomes concentrated, and there it could be like we might have little bit of other desires, other happiness too, but when we go to the pure, the love of Godhead, that stage, it will be only Krishna, nothing else will matter. That will be fully concentrated, that is at the prema bhakti level, that is ocean of happiness. There it will keep on expanding.
Shall we move? Okay, so the happiness in devotion is dense and therefore nothing can penetrate it. This we discussed. So I hope we all got this example. Like the iron is so strong that anything else doesn't penetrate it. The density of molecule is very condensed there. Okay. And moving on to the next point. And the next point and the most important point is that
how do we attract Krishna?
Normally we discuss how Krishna is all attractive, but here we are going to discuss how we can attract Krishna. It's a different topic by itself, and let us look. Okay.
Krishna himself is attractive, right? And there's no we have if he comes as a Mohini Murti, she's the most beautiful lady. And if he comes as a cowherd boys, where he disguised himself as the cowherd boys, all the mothers started loving all the Gopas. And whatever Lord does, even when he's on the battlefield, when he's all bloodshed, if a person is like that, we never say attractive. If he's sweating, we don't say attractive. If a person is with a Godhuli, he comes, we don't say attractive. But Krishna is all attractive in all the circumstances. So how do we attract this this attractive Supreme Lord? So there is which one was that? Yeah, Ter Kadamba. In Ter Kadamba forest, where Madhana, he wanted to, during the pastimes of Krishna and the gopis, he wanted to captivate Krishna. So he will throw the arrows on the Supreme Lord. So what will Supreme Lord do? In turn, he will captivate him with his raised eyebrows, right? And then that's how the Lord is called as Madana Mohana. But how he gets attracted? He gets attracted with Madana Mohana Mohini, who is that Srimati Radharani. There's one, he's so attracted with Srimati Radharani. There's one pastime in Chaitanya Charitamrita which says that, which is Krishna wanted to have a pastime with Srimati Radharani, and even there were other gopis. So to change the situation there, he doesn't show his Sham Sundar form, he shows his Chaturbhuj form to all the gopis, and they think him as like he's Narayan, and they pay the awe and reverence. In that mood they come, and they are like suddenly in this situation Srimati Radharani enters, and when she enters, he's not able to control, he's not able to stay in that Narayana form. He immediately transforms himself into two-handed form, Shamasundar. So he is attracted to Radharani. So who is Radharani? It's a manifestation of Bhakti, Allahadini Shakti, right? So Lord himself gets attracted to the Bhakti. So this is a very, the beautiful way to please the Lord. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tatvata. There is no other process. It's only through Bhakti where we can attract the Lord. And then
so we can also understand that devotional service is expression of expansion of Radharani.
Yeah, devotees of Vrindavan herself, everybody are under the care of Srimati Radharani. So the Lord can get only achieved through bhakti, nothing else. In Srimad Bhagavatam 11, 14, 20, which is quoted, my dear Uddhava, you may know it from me that attraction I feel for devotional service rendered my devotees is not to be attained even by the performance of mystic yoga, the philosophical speculation, ritualistic sacrifices, the study of Vedanta, the practice of severe austerities, the giving of everything in charity. These are of course very nice activities, but they are not as attractive to me as a transcendental loving service rendered by my devotees. We have so many instances in Srimad Bhagavatam where Krishna says, he cannot tolerate anything that has happened against the devotees. We have Maharaj Ambrish instance, and how he keeps up the word of his devotee Narada Muni. So many examples where we understand how important, how we can attract Krishna through his devotees. And here it is supremely what mentioned in this particular instance, in this particular stage, is Srimati Radharani. And here, and even Narada Muni says to Yudhishthir Maharaj, when Yudhishthir Maharaj will glorify Prahlad Maharaj for his devotion, and this is the quality and mood of a devotee. So now, what the realization I got, I would like to share here is how it's being glorified, because most often we do all our processes, we are into chanting, we read, we get into satsangs, everything, but are we really happy? Are we really feeling that bliss? Because the one reason is we are not might be absorbed, and one reason is in a subtle way or gross way we become envious of our of devotees around. It might not be on a grosser level, or it might be on a subtler level. For example, we commit what do you say, aparats, or we become envious. And for example, if I have to state my own the personal realization, I may not go and find fault in other people, but I might find fault, the whole world fault in my Prabhuji. So that is again adverse for my devotional life, right? And in that way, here Yudhishthir Maharaj is glorifying Prahlad Maharaj for his devotion. So whenever we have to get into that mood of glorifying, appreciating the devotees. So when we say devotees, see, every instance we learn, it's not only the devotees outside. When we say devotees, we only think of Maharaj, Yatra leader, Bhakti Vruksha, yes, of course, but along with that, even the family counts, right? So we go on a higher level without addressing the root of, I mean, what I'm trying to say is we fail to address the every dimension of it. We taken only to the one angular. So it's not, that's what I was trying to say in the earlier thing, like duplicity. So that has to be addressed. Here what Yudhishthir Maharaj is trying to do is going to glorify Prahlad Maharaj. How glorious is he? But Narada Muni is telling how glorious you are. Look, what is your fortune? What did Lord do? A devotee always appreciates the activities of other devotees. Yudhishthir Maharaj was appreciating the qualities of Prahlad, and that appreciation is one of the symptoms of pure devotee. A pure devotee never thinks himself great. He always thinks that the devotees are greater than himself. The king was thinking Prahlad Maharaj is actually a devotee of the Lord, while I am nothing. And while thinking this, he was addressed by Narad as follows. Narad Muni is telling how glorious you are. What has Lord done? Lord became he was like your personal servant. He was just staying with you like a human being. He became your charioteer. He became your messenger. He became your protector. My dear Yudhishthir, you, the Pandavas, the brothers, are the only fortunate people in this world. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has appeared on this planet and is presenting himself to you as an ordinary human being. He is always with you in all circumstances. He is living with you, covering himself from the eyes of others. Others cannot understand that. He is the Supreme Lord, but he is still living with you as your cousin, as your friend, or even as your messenger. Therefore, you must know that nobody in this world is more fortunate than you. So this, how do we attract Krishna, right? To the devotees through the bhakti. So this is what is the cream given to us by Srila Prabhupada. It's not only the cream, it's the highest treasure in your life, in our life. So when I was just reading this particular passages, I felt like I'm on the top of the world. So how beautiful it is to relish. I mean, this particular session was a lesson for me to work on ourselves, saying how do we improvise, how do we progress. Because recently we had some couple of months ago, Jagan Prabhuji had taken us through an japa session, and that was really an enlivening one, saying yes, we have to every now and then we have to undergo such session so that we work on ourselves for the progress. So the similar experience was with this particular session of reading during the Ramadan time. In this, and there is one more instance. When Krishna appeared in his universal form, the Arjuna prayed, my dear Krishna, thought of you as my cousin brother, and as I have shown disrespect to you in so many ways, calling you Krishna a friend, but you are so great that I could not understand. People who are not in devotional service can never understand what the great value there is in rendering service to the Lord. So we all must have this mood. We all must get this, particular bhav of this particular stages, whatever is being discussed by working on our sadhana. And once what happens is, we would like to conclude the session.
One more slide.
Oh, okay. No, there's no more slide.
Yeah.
Okay. Go to the next.
Okay, so from this we understand that the Supreme Lord has everything. Therefore, what could attract him? Only love. Only loving devotional service can attract the Supreme Lord. So that is how the 6 characteristics of bhakti ends. And then further in this book, it describes about how to set an order, how to do japa.
Yeah, that way.
Is there. And then some of the additional points, as we discussed in the previous in the beginning, we can also look at how these 6 characteristics of bhakti falls within the 9 stages of devotional service. So if you look in the sadhana, we can see that what do you call, Kleshagni is falling in that, and Shubhada is falling in it. And then in addition to that, in Bhava, like deriding the liberation and rarity, which we can understand. Then further, if you look into Prema, we can see the bliss and how to attracting Krishna. So we can understand at which stage, because initially everything starts with sadhana and then gradually progress to bhava and prema. So the majority, when a person starts, it has to go like once he starts in the sadhana, there we starts releasing the, what do you call, the distress gradually by doing bhajana kriya anartha nivarti, and then we get the faith nishta. Okay, so that is how it's a very gradual process.
Here, so these were the beautiful stages of devotion, I mean the qualities of characteristics of devotional service, and
how they fit into the stages.
yeah, fit into the stages of bhakti. And why do we read? Once Srila Prabhupada will say, will ask his disciples, why are we reading? What is the use of reading books? So then all the disciples will answer in various ways. They'll say, go back to Godhead, to develop the faith, and to know about Krishna, everything. So then Srila Prabhupada will tell, no, that is not. But why do we have to do is, can anybody type out? Why do you have to read Srila Prabhupada books? What could have been the Srila Prabhupada's answer here?
I think it is to know Krishna.
To know Krishna. Yeah, Haribol, fixed in chanting. So that is what everything, the sum and substance of everything. Do bhakti, yes. But bhakti again, if we have to take that focus, that is chanting. So Harinam, all our devotional lives depends on Harinam. Let this mood help us in developing our love and ruchi to chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namah. Ananta Kodi Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. So throughout this presentation, if we might have done definitely knowingly or unknowingly something wrong, please consider us as the youngest in the group, and also your own children or younger or elder sister, and please forgive us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna Mataji, Hari Hari Bol. Simple and eloquent. Hare Krishna, very calm and collected. Hare Krishna. So Jagan Prabhu has commented that he felt like he was in a tutorial class. Hare Krishna. So I have one question which is addressed to me. So before we go into these prayers of Narasimha Kavacha, so the question says that what is the difference between sin and aprada?
You can say. Yeah, you can say. So sin is like papa, aparadha is like we are doing it against the devotees. So we can see if you look at the example of Ambarish Maharaj, when Durvasa Muni, he created the, what do you call it? What is it called? He created a ghost fire demon to kill Ambarish Maharaj. So that is an aparadha, because Ambarish Maharaj was a devotee. It is not a sin. So the main point is this: when we do an aparadha, only devotees can save. Whoever they have offended, only they can save them from this. Even not even Lord will be able to save them. That we could see that, because Durvasa Muni had to go around and around. Everywhere he went, nobody could see, because Chakra was behind him. Sudarshan Chakra was behind him. He went to the Lord. Even Lord was not able to save him. Lord said, go to Ambarish Maharaj and beg for forgiveness. So the aparadha is like, it is against the devotee, Lord's devotees, and only that particular devotee can help them to come out of it. Whereas the sin is like what we do and against the scripture, against and that can, like, we can come out of it by doing devotional service. So that is the point. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, thanks a lot for your explanation. Actually, there's a very good article in the ISKCON Desire Tree on the subject matter, because it's kind of an often asked question. Sometimes we also do not know, right, when we are doing aparadha or when we are doing sin. So if you allow me, I'll just I'll share it on the screen. We will definitely put the article which I'm showing in the blog. But just to give the brief headline of the answer, I think it's important for all to know. I really thank the devotee who has asked this question. It's a very pertinent question. So I'll just share it, Prabhu. So what you said is right, but it may not be complete. So this answer, I think, is Vraja Kishore Das. It came in ISKCON Desire Tree a couple of years back. So here, I will read out. I think devotees are able to see, but I'll read out it loud, particularly for those devotees who are on phone, who may not be able to see this clearly. There is a difference between a sin, adharma or papa, and a hatred, offense, aparadha. Hatred is sin, but not all sin is hatred. Hatred is a special subset of sin. It is a worst type. It is so bad that it is considered in a separate category. A sin is simply a failure to fulfill our duty, responsibility, and a function. Again, I repeat, a sin is simply a failure to fulfill our duty, responsibility, and function. A father, for example, sins if he cannot provide physical and mental security to for his family. The acts he does which contribute to this failure are also sins. A hatred, this is very, very important. A hatred, offense, or aparadha is an intentional hurt or a slander against a person who deserves to be respected or loved. So hatred is an intentional hurt or a slander against a person who deserves respected or loved. Sin can happen by mistake or out of weakness, but hatred is a willful and intentional by definition. One example of aparadha, hatred, teacher comes into the room and the student refuses to stand. Another example, father yelling at his daughter, I hope it is not Bandhu Baldev Prabhu. It may be myself. Father yelling at his daughter for wanting his attention and affection. And aparadha is not a mistake. It's intentional. Because aparadha are intentional, they are the worse than ordinary sin. A student who didn't know he was supposed to stand when a teacher entered the room isn't so much an aparadha as a mild papi. A father who unintentionally fails in his relationship with his daughter is again more a papitan or an aparadhi. It is worse to be an aparadhi than to be a papi. In Gita, Krishna says that the worst type of sin is kama, the selfish desire. This is because kama is a root aparadha. When we want things for ourselves, kama, we will inevitably hate those who frustrate our desires. We have wasted a lot of our time and breath criticizing materialistic people for their sins, but we are far, far worse than they are because of our aparadha against the most lovable entity, Krishna. So we have wasted a lot of our time and breath criticizing materialistic people for their sins, but we are far, far worse than they are because of our aparadhas against the most lovable entity, Krishna. We know what we should be attentive and affectionate towards Krishna's name, image, wisdom, the Veda, and those who teach and exemplify it, the gurus and sadhus, but we continue to refuse to make that effort. Our lack of progress in bhakti yoga is due to aparadha, but aparadha is based on our failure to develop proper comprehension of the goal, prayojana, the process, abhidaya, and the components of the reality, sambandha. The tendency for hatred goes away the more deeply we comprehend our relationship to other people and reality as a whole. The more deeply we understand the sambandha jnana, the more we understand the sambandha jnana. So the best cure for worst evil is careful study of Shastra under the guidance of a guru who deeply understands them. So it goes on. We will definitely circulate this. Thanks for whoever has asked, because asking question answers is very important, because this article very beautifully clarifies what is aparadha. And this is very often asked, very often things. Even sometimes I also go through when I don't fulfill a spiritual commitment, or some unwanted desire comes, and I mentally, at least I get subdued by that, or I succumb to that. There's always a guilt that goes on to that, right? So, but if you know clearly the difference between that and this, okay, that is a sin. My failure to do that particular duty, or my failure to succumb to a sense gratification desire, than a willfully, offending a devotee, willfully offending Krishna, being envious of Krishna, being envious of devotees, that is bigger sin. So I think this is Prabhu has given in a very simple, and I request all the devotees to read this, because it's very, very important. Yeah. So even if you don't commit any sin, because I may be following things which I'm supposed to follow to myself, all my woes or all my things, but still I may be a worst fellow if I'm doing an offense to somebody. That means if I get up early in the morning, finish all my 16 rounds and fulfill all whatever is there, do puja part, very pious, eat only prasadam, but now and then I criticize Bandhu Baldev Prabhu, I do that, I criticize Vasant Prabhu in the back. So all my pious life, a price credit of life without committing any sin is useless, because the effect of that aparadh is much more danger than just committing a sin. It doesn't say that we should commit sin, but we need to know the difference between these two dangerous things. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Once again, I really thank a devotee who has asked this question. It's very, very pertinent to this discussion, because Prabhu and Mataji has talked about the things that are very much in detail given in the Nectar of Devotion, actually. All these things. There is also one shloka is there. Any comments on this before I put up that shloka?
No, Prabhu, I think it's very, very well, very relevant article. So yeah, very nice, very nicely explained. So one comment, Madhupati Prabhu, if you can, before sending your presentation, you can just put the name of the chapter. It will be helpful. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, we'll also chant one shloka. I think Mataji has covered that shloka, but I think it would be better to, like Srila Prabhupada always says, that we need to take a reference of this. I will, if you don't mind, I will chant the shloka. Yeah, because I'm not sure how others are saying it. This is coming in Padma Purana. This is also a shloka that you will find it in Srila Prabhupada's often quoted shlokas. It is also somewhere connected with the Bhakti Brahma Samhita shloka. Estrindram Gopama Davendram Moho Sokarma Karmanu Bandhani Rupa Phala Bhaja Matnoti. So this shloka is a very important shloka for all of us to remember, to know what is importance of bhakti, because I think today the whole concept and the topic was on bhakti, right? Pure devotional service. Aprarabdha palam papam. I think these are the words Mataji has explained. Kutam bijam phalonmukham kramenaiva praliyeta Vishnu bhakti ratatmanam. Aprarabdha palam papam Kutam bijam phalonmukham kramenaiva praliyeta Vishnu bhakti ratatmanam. There are different stages of dormant reaction to sinful activities to be observed in a sinful life. Sinful reactions may be just waiting to take effect, phalonmukha. Reactions may be still further dormant, that is kuta, or the reactions may be in a seed-like state, bija. In any case, all types of sinful reactions are vanquished one after another if person engages in devotional service to Lord. Yeah. This is the explanation, and of course acharyas, when they explain the word ratatmanam, there is a more emphasis on not only devotional service in a very favorable, pleasing, enjoyable manner and mood, and that's a devotion. And same in the Brahma Samhita shloka also, from Indra to insect, everybody has to suffer or go through the results of karma. But karmani nirdhatu bhakti. When we take up to bhakti, those things are, nirdhati means, I think it is like a fire, like burnt to ashes kind of. Yeah. So thanks a lot, Mataji, for making me remember this shloka, making all of us remember this shloka, which is very much relevant to what you have told in this session. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Jagan Prabhu, for taking out the relevant information at such a short notice and sharing it for all of us benefit. Thank you once again, Madhupati Prabhu and Rasavati Mataji, for your nice presentation, and you finished on time, 5 minutes before time.
But Prabhu, I want to say something. You said when I said a short time, I pulled up, right? Because I'm the one who commit a lot of sins and a lot of aparadas. So for people like me, this is more important. So that's the reason why I got it fast.
Hare Krishna. So thank you once again. So now we will go into the chanting of the prayers. Okay, we have one more question. Insulting demigods is also aparad since they are serving Krishna. Madhupati Prabhu or Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu, they are the devotees of the Lord. It's implicit, it's also the aparad. So we have to be very careful. That's how we say we have to respect them, and their blessings are very important, vital in our devotional life. Maybe Jagan Prabhu can add light onto it. Our understanding is yes.
Yep, you're right. It's a very terrible thing. So actually, not to forget about insulting. There's a very nice class by His Holiness Vijna Vinasha Narasimha Maharaj on during Nityananda Trayadashi Day. So he basically talks about Nityananda, the fountainhead of love and things like that. In that course of the lecture, Maharaj also dwells on the demigods and how we should respect them. It's not only respecting. What Maharaj says is that if you do not even worship demigod, that's also, and you can never expect to get Krishna Bhakti. If you forget about not respecting. Worship in the sense that, of course, they are dependent on Krishna to bestow mercy. Maharaj even goes to that sentence. So you can imagine the importance of that. I have that article also. I used it in one of my presentations. I will also put it up in the blog.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. So I believe the answer to that question is that, yeah, it is definitely an aparada to insult demigods, and in Krishna consciousness, we never mean to insult or disrespect them. We only clarify that we need to respect them, we need to worship them as the servants of Lord Krishna. 10 offenses say different. No, the 10 offenses, what is being said is that to consider the demigods as equal to or independent of Lord Krishna is an offense. So what we are telling is that we should respect them, we should worship them, but that should be done in an understanding that they are also servants of Lord Krishna. They are also the executors of Lord Krishna's mission. So different devatas are in charge of different departments, and the overall head is under Lord Krishna. So the understanding is that it is an offense to consider them as a supreme personality of Godhead. But at the same time, we cannot insult them. We should consider them and we should respect them as the heads of the departments under Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah, so Mangal Prabhu and Sasimukhi Mataji has commented that again, the problem arises that instead of asking bhakti, if we ask material thing, then that is where the problem comes. Hare Krishna. So thanks to all the devotees who have raised the valuable queries for the benefit of everyone's benefit. Hare Krishna. So today we are moving ahead to the Narasimha Kavacha chanting prayers. So in addition to the devotees of Sridham Mayapur who have been affected by COVID, so we have a prayer request by Sumangal Prabhu. So one of his colleague named Radha Krishna Guruswamy. So he has undergone a brain operation last Friday, couple of days back, and is still on ventilator. So do we have anyone else who is known to us who is requiring prayers? Hare Krishna. So Vasant Prabhu, if you can put up the Narasimha Kavacha. So let us all, the Narasimha Kavacha will now be chanted by Amruta Padma Mataji. And let us all pray deep within the hearts for the benefit, for the well-being, eternal well-being of all those who are affected. Hare Krishna. Mataji, over to you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna to all Matajis and Prabhujis. Please accept my humble obeisances. We'll also pray for all of us and for all those who need prayers. नरसिंहकवचं वक्ष्ये प्रह्लादेनोदितं पुरा सर्वरक्षकरं पुण्यं सर्वोपद्रवनाशनम् सर्वसम्पत्करं चैव स्वर्गमोक्षप्रदायकं ध्यात्वा नरसिंहं देवेशं हेमसिंहासनस्थितम् विवृतास्यं त्रिनयनं शरदिन्दुसमप्रभं लक्ष्म्यालिङ्गितवामाङ्गं विभूतिभिरुपाश्रितम् चतुर्भुजं कोमलाङ्गं स्वर्णकुण्डलशोभितं सरोजाशोभितोरस्कं रत्नकेयूरमुद्रितम् तप्तकाञ्चनसङ्काशं पीतनिर्मलवाससम् इन्द्रादिसुरमौलिष्टः स्फुरन्माणिक्यदीप्तिभिः विराजितपदद्वन्द्वं शङ्खचक्रादिहेतिभिः गरुत्मता च विनयात् स्तूयमानं मुधान्वितम् स्वहृत्कमलसंवासं कृत्वा तु कवचं पठेत् नृसिंहो मे शिरः पातु लोकरक्षार्थसम्भवः सर्वगोपीस्तम्भवासः फलं मे रक्षतु ध्वनिं नृसिंहो मे दृशौ पातु सोमसूर्याग्निलोचनः स्मृतं मे पातु नरहरि मुनिवार्यास्तुतिप्रियः नासं मे सिंहनाशस्तु मुखं लक्ष्मीमुखप्रियः सर्वविद्याधिपः पातु नृसिंहो रसनं मम वक्त्रं पात्वविन्दुवदनं सदा प्रह्लादवन्दितः नृसिंह पातु मे कण्ठं स्कन्धौ भूभृद् अनन्तकृत् दिव्यास्त्रशोभितभुजः नृसिंह पातु मे भुजौ करौ मे देववरदो नृसिंह पातु सर्वतः हृदयं योगिसाध्यश्च निवासं पातु मे हरिः मद्यं पातु हिरण्याक्ष वक्षाकुक्षिविदारणः नाभिं मे पातु नरहरि स्वनाभिब्रह्मसंस्तुतः ब्रह्माण्डकोटयाकट्यं यस्यासौ पातु मे कटिं गुह्यं मे पातु गुह्यानां मन्त्राणां गुह्यरूपधृक् ऊरुमनोभव पातु जानुनी नररूपधृक् जङ्गे पातु धराभरा अर्तायोऽसौ नृकेशरी सुरराज्यप्रधा पातु पादौ मे नृहरीश्वरः सहस्रशीर्षा पुरुषः पातु मे सर्वशस्तनुम् मनोग्रहपूर्वता पातु महावीराग्रजोऽग्नितः महाविष्णुर्दक्षिणे तु महाज्वलस्तु नैऋतः पश्चिमे पातु सर्वेशो दिशि मे सर्वतोमुखः नृसिंह पातु वायव्यं सौम्यां भूषणविग्रहः ईशान्यं पातु भद्रो मे सर्वमङ्गलदायकः संसारभयतापातु मृत्योर्मृत्युनृकेशरी इदं नृसिंहकवचं प्रह्लादमुखमण्डितं भक्तिमान्यपटे नैत्यं सर्वपापै प्रमुच्यते पुत्रवान् धनवान् लोके दीर्घायुरुपजायते यं यं कामयते कामं तं तं प्राप्नोत्यसंशयम् सर्वत्र जयमाप्नोति सर्वत्र विजयी भवेत् भूम्यान्तरिक्षदिव्यानां ग्रहाणां विनिवारणम् वृश्चिकोरगसम्भूता विशापहरणं परं ब्रह्मराक्षसयक्षाणां दुरोत्सारणकारणम् भुजे वा तलपात्रे वा कवचं लिखितं शुभं करमूले धृतं येन सिद्ध्येयुः कर्मसिद्धयः देवासुरमनुष्येषु स्वं स्वं एव जयं लभेत् एकसन्ध्यं त्रिसन्ध्यं वा यः पठेत् नियतो नरः सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्यं भुक्तिं मुक्तिं च विन्दति 32,000 पतेच्छुद्धात्मनामृणाम् कवचस्यास्य मन्त्रस्य मन्त्रसिद्धिप्रजायते अनेन मन्त्रराजेन कृत्वा भस्माभिर्मन्त्राणाम् तिलकं विन्यसेद्यस्तु तस्य ग्रहभयं हरेत् त्रिवारं जपमानस्तु दत्तं वार्याभिमन्त्र्य च प्रसायद्यो नरो मन्त्रं नृसिंहाध्यानमाचरेत् तस्य रोगप्रणश्यन्ति ये चास्युकुक्षिसम्भवाः गर्जन्तं गार्जयन्तं निजभुजपतलं स्फोटयन्तं हतन्तं रूप्यन्तं तापयन्तं दिवि भुवि दितिजं क्षेपयन्तं क्षिपन्तं क्रन्दन्तं रोषयन्तं दिशि दिशि सततं संहरन्तं हरन्तं वीक्षन्तं पूर्णयन्तं हरनिकरशतैर्दिव्यसिंहं नमामि गर्जन्तं घार्जयन्तं निजभुजपतलं स्फोटयन्तं हतन्तं रूपयन्तं तापयन्तं दिवि भुवि दितिजं क्षेपयन्तं क्षिपन्तं क्रन्दन्तं रोषयन्तं दिशि दिशि सततं संहरन्तं भरन्तं वीक्षन्तं पूर्णयन्तं करनिकरशतैर्दिव्यसिंहं नमामि गर्जन्तं घार्जयन्तं निजभुजपतलं स्फोटयन्तं हतन्तं रूप्यन्तं तापयन्तं दिवि भुवि दितिजं क्षेपयन्तं क्षिपन्तं क्रन्दन्तं रोषयन्तं दिशि दिशि सततं संहरन्तं भरन्तं वीक्षन्तं पूर्णयन्तं करनिकरशतैर्दिव्यसिंहं नमामि इति श्रीब्रह्माण्डपुराणे प्रह्लादोक्तं श्रीनरसिंहकवचं सम्पूर्णं श्रौम्बीजं मे शिरपातु चन्द्रवर्णो महामनुः जय नरसिंह श्रीनरसिंह जय जय श्रीनरसिंह उग्रं वीरं महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नृसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्योर्नमाम्यहम् अपराधसहस्राणि क्रियन्ते हर्निशं मया दासोऽहमिति मन्मत्वा क्षमस्व मधुसूदन प्रतिज्ञातविन्दाना मे भक्त्या प्रयश्यति तैति संसृत्य प्राणान् संज्ञैर्हमाम्यहम् हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the opportunity.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for the soulful chanting. What was the last two verses, Mataji? I have not heard that till now.
It is about if I make any mistakes, like aparada sahasrani, like while chanting the Narasimha Kavacha, if I doing any mistakes, please dasa karke you forgive me. That is the Madhusudana, Shamaswa Madhusudana, and that is the only one thing, Prabhu.
Okay, Mataji. I didn't know this. Hare Krishna. Thank you once again, Mataji, for the nice chanting. So let us all chant again one Hare Krishna Maha Mantra for each and every one of us, for our own spiritual progress and for all of the devotees. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So anybody would like to say anything? Anybody would like to add anything before we wind up? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So we shall meet tomorrow at the same time, 6 o'clock. So we are starting a fresh book with 2 more devotees. So let us join by 6 o'clock, and let us join by 5:45 to encourage our kirtaniyas, to encourage our devotees. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So I once again reiterate our request on behalf of the team to please participate in the quiz. So a lot of effort is taken to prepare the quiz, and effort is one side. We will also get to benefit a lot by participating in the quiz. And the second thing is, please make use of the blog. So all the resources, the lectures, the recordings, the answers to the questions, everything is being posted there. So it is a very kind of one-stop shop for whatever we are covering in this program, and it is having the resources containing to last program also. And then Amrita Mataji, the quiz is being published every day in our WhatsApp group. It's a self-paced quiz, and you can take your own place. And hopefully from the coming Thursday, we will be conducting interactive quiz also. But based on every day's topic, we are publishing the self-paced quiz the next day or the day after. Hare Krishna. And Vasant Prabhu has published the blog link in the chat box also, and it is there several times in our Ramadan group also. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thanks once again to everybody who has joined and who has given your association. So with everyone's permission, we are ending today's program. Hare Krishna.